Hey there, MJ traders and investors. It's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. Also home to the best MJ community. Today is Monday, February 5th. Hope you had a great weekend. And in this video, we're going to dive into the AYR chart. We're going to take a look at the recent price action. I'll go over my thoughts and opinions, what we can expect as well in the days, weeks, months ahead. But as always, this is not financial advice. You should never ever buy or sell anything based on anything that I say or anything that I write. We'll discuss why the drop in the share price. There was a massive 30% pullback, but in my opinion, it was mostly technical. We did have some news pertaining to warrants as well, which I think added to the drop as well, but it was a bit of an overreaction in my opinion. I think this is a great company with great promise, especially with the Florida market and recreational potentially on the ballot for 2024. That's pretty much a done deal, and then I think it's going to get enacted into law in 2025, and then Pennsylvania as well, which looks like pretty much a done deal. Before we get to it though, make sure to smash the like. It helps support me in the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff, and you'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. Also, you can give us a follow over on X, which is formerly Twitter. The handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward, and it's the best way for me to get real-time updates out to the community. And full disclosure, I do own AYR in my portfolio. I added it to my tax-free savings account last month in January. Us Canadians, we got an extra 7,000 contribution room to our tax-free savings account, so TFSA, and I was holding off on adding a lot of the US operators because I wanted to wait for that extra contribution room. And it's exactly how it sounds. Any gains in a tax-free savings account, for those of you that are not in Canada, all of the gains are tax-free, right? You can only contribute a certain amount per year, and then lifetime, depending on how old you are, etc. But I do think that AYR is going to be a massive growth opportunity here. There's a lot to like with the company. They just got their debt pushed out as well a couple of years, and they have tons. I think they have close to 70 locations. I think I counted, or maybe it was 60. I think it was like 59 or 60 locations just in Florida alone. So they're going to be a huge beneficiary of the Florida market if we see that hit adult use sales in 2025. It's looking like it could be in the summer, in July of 2025. If it gets approved by voters on the ballot, then it would more than likely get enacted into law in the summer of 2025. And then they also have quite a few dispensaries here in Pennsylvania as well. They've got Illinois, Nevada. Illinois is a huge market, New Jersey, and Massachusetts. So Pennsylvania, pretty much a done deal there as well. This is a great little, well, they're not that little. I think their market cap's around $260 million, but they're going to be a huge beneficiary of the Florida market and obviously Pennsylvania. So this is one that I recently added to my portfolio. Very, very bullish on it long term. Just want to be as transparent as I can be and let everybody know that I do own the stock. And then there was some news with regards to the closing date of the previously announced plan of arrangement, and they're targeting on or around February 7th, 2024. So the closing of the arrangement is targeted on or around February 7th, 2024, and the record date of determining the shareholders as defined below entitled to receive the anti-dilutive warrants as defined below pursuant to the arrangement has been set at the close of business on February 5th, 2024, so today. And the senior secured notes due December 10th, 2026. So again, that was pushed out. And then they said issuing to holders the new AYR exchange notes. So 23,046,067 warrants, each exercisable for one SVS share at US $2.12. So this definitely added to the downside, but I think it was more or less an overreaction, and most of it was technical in my opinion. AYR was one of the names that exploded over the last month or so. Realistically, ever since the HHS recommendation, it's been on an absolute tear. Curaleaf was one of the first to confirm a monthly uptrend, and then AYR was next, and then Green Thumb followed, and Trulieve, and now for the first time in history, we saw MSOS ETF confirm a monthly uptrend as well. So yeah, this definitely played a factor in my opinion, the warrants. But if we take a look at the technicals, I think it was mostly technical, and then couple that with the news here about the warrants, I think it just exacerbated that a little bit. But definitely an overreaction in my opinion, and a great opportunity to buy the dip in my opinion, but again, not financial advice. We are getting close to hourly oversold. Actually, we did dip down and touched hourly oversold 30 and below is considered oversold. So we did print that, but we closed at the low here on the last hourly candle, and we're very close to confirming an hourly bear flag. So if we lose 287, then it's hourly bear flag confirmed. And if you take your measured move from the high to the low, move it out to the 0.382 fib, it's saying we're targeting about 234 if confirmed. So in order to negate this hourly bear flag, we need to get above the 0.382 fib into tomorrow. So 333 resistance must break. If we break that, get above it, then that's going to negate the odds of the hourly bear flag. One thing that bulls are liking is the fact that we already had the hourly EMA 12 and 26 bear cross. You can see here when the shorter term, the yellow is below the longer term, the white line, and it crosses, that's a bull cross. We see upside momentum. Then we had a bear cross, downside momentum went from about 215 down to 172. Then we had a bull cross, and then it was just all bulls from there. And you can see we had another bear cross here, but didn't see that much follow through to the downside. And here we are seeing from the high there at 409, we were down, let me just get the exact percentage. We were down just over 30%, right? And how many hourly candles was that? We're looking at 13 hours, right? So 13 hourly candles, and that definitely, you know, being a sizable pullback and all, but it's definitely nothing to worry about in my opinion. If we take when in doubt, zoom out. Yes, a 30% pullback is a hefty pullback, not going to downplay that, but if we just zoom out to the weekly time frame, we're finally just starting weekly consolidation. So the fact that, you know, last week we had a huge upper wick and bearish reversal candle, we hadn't consolidated on the weekly time frame in, well, including this week, it had been 7 weeks or 49 days, and since 157. So we have tons of room for a weekly higher low to form, and we're still in a weekly uptrend. We had a bit of a weekly, actually we did confirm a weekly downtrend here with a high, low, lower high, and lower low, but then here we are back into a weekly uptrend with our low, high, higher low, and higher high. We're just scouting another weekly higher low here on this weekly consolidation. Consolidation just means we're losing the low of the previous weekly candle there at 299. So we do have EMA 12 coming up for support at 255, and then like I said, we do have an hourly bear flag potential with a target of $2.34. But again, in order to negate it, we need to get above 333, and in order to confirm it, we need to lose 287 support. Lose 287, hourly bear flag confirmed, and the measured move says we're targeting about 234. But something to keep in mind is on the hourly here, and to keep in mind of the hourly is the fact that we're hourly oversold, but we're a little bit weaker here than normal and comparative to the rest of the peers in the sector, right? A lot of names aren't even starting weekly consolidation yet, so it's definitely one of the lead bears here, technically speaking. But again, the fact that we touched hourly oversold, we had a little bit of a bounce. It was just a weak bounce. We didn't even get above the 0.236 there really, and a pretty weak bounce at that. So I would say that there's a very high probability that we could see this continuation to the downside and the hourly bear flag confirmed, and then hit potential for daily oversold. We haven't been daily oversold since way back in October. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if we did hit daily oversold on this weekly consolidation. And in order to confirm a weekly higher low, we need to confirm a daily uptrend ASAP. And you can see here we lost the daily uptrend with the higher low, higher high pattern being lost. So once we lost support there at 299, we lost the daily uptrend, and we're trying to find support here at daily EMA 26 at 287. But again, I'm just a little concerned at the fact that this hourly bear flag is very close to shaping up. At the close of the day today, we were only a little over 3% away from that key support. So 287 is going to be key into tomorrow. USD on the OTC, AYRWF. So we're going to be looking at that crucial support into tomorrow. And the S&P 500 is a little bit weak at the moment as well. So if that continues, then that's going to be headwinds. And then, like I said, watch for potential daily oversold. If you're somebody who's looking when would be a good time to add, daily oversold might be a good idea to target for entries. Again, not financial advice. But you can see here we could still see an EMA 12 and 26 bear cross as well, adding more confluence to the fact that we could see downside from here. We haven't been daily oversold since October, and this hourly oversold was the first time since December 20th as well, and since 160% of upside. So again, when in doubt, zoom out, and if we zoom out to the weekly time frame here, in just over 40 days, so in 42 days or 6 weeks, in 6 weekly candles, we were up about 165%, right? And we had no support all the way down to 157. And from the high to the low to where we currently are, or we'll go to the low of the pullback here, and that hourly bear flag support is 30%, right? So we went up from 157, we went up 165, and here we are down 30%. So when we go up 100% or 160% off of, key support here, and we don't have any weekly support, we've just been up and to the right for the last, 6 weeks. When you see 100%, 150% gains, you need to expect a 20, 30% pullback, right? It's to be expected, right? Same thing happens in pretty much any sector, right? If something goes up 100%, 150%, it shouldn't surprise you that, it corrects 15, 20%, right? Nothing goes in a straight line up and to the right forever, right? There's going to be higher lows and higher highs. There's always going to be pullbacks, even in a bull market, right? We gave back pretty much that whole move as well after the HHS recommendation. But we're still in a weekly uptrend, so there's no major red flags whatsoever. And on the monthly time frame, we're still in a monthly uptrend as well. We have our low, high, higher low and higher high, higher low and higher high. So if we do start monthly consolidation, it's hard to say that we would do it this month. We would have to lose the low of last month at 178 to start monthly consolidation. So I think the most likely scenario is that we just tighten up and hold the low of last month this month, and then potential for monthly consolidation next month. We'll see. There's a lot of speculation that we could get some updates with regards to safer banking in the next month or so. Rescheduling decision from the DEA, I think, is more than likely going to come out at some point in March or April. I do think that the most likely scenario is Schedule 3, and I think we'll get that decision at some point between now and the end of April. But obviously, a lot of names are starting to trend back to their monthly EMA 26 as well, which on AYR, we're looking at $6.99 as that target. And then if you take a look at GTII, right, Green Thumb, it's actually above its monthly EMA 26, and it's shaping up for a monthly EMA 12 and 26 bull cross. So it's very strong at the moment. TRUL, TrueLeaf, or TCNNF, again, those are over the EMA 26 here on the monthly time frame as well. So if AYR were to do something similar, then that would put us at around $7, right? $6.99. So again, in my opinion, no major red flags whatsoever. This is just healthy. We're just starting weekly consolidation, and we could potentially see weekly EMA 12 come into play there at 255 and the hourly bear flag target of 234. But again, need to confirm 287, a loss of support, that support tomorrow to confirm that hourly bear flag. But again, it's just going to be a nice buying opportunity, in my opinion, as we look for potential for daily oversold conditions the first time since October. But nothing to be concerned about here, in my opinion. Like I said, this is a great operator for the long term. In my opinion, is going to benefit tremendously from Florida, which arguably could be the biggest market in the US, and then Pennsylvania as well looks like pretty much a done deal at this point. And then on the weekly time frame, I just want to spend a little bit more extra time on AYR as well, because I'm getting a lot of questions about this one, and rightly so. It's been garnering a lot of attention lately. But in terms of the weekly 10-week moving average, or sorry, the 10-week moving average, it's sitting at 252 and then 250 psychological. So I do think that 250 to 230 would be a nice area to target here for a potential bottom on this weekly consolidation. But again, we need to confirm a daily uptrend ASAP to mark our weekly higher lows being set. And we are seeing a stochastic bear cross here, which is adding a little bit more confluence to the fact that we could see a little bit more downside. Not seeing a bear cross on the MACD yet, but that's still a potential as well. And then we topped out right at the 50 weekly moving average. And that was, the 100 weekly moving average. So that was at $3.08. So we actually got above it, and we topped out. We failed to close above it last week, and here we are getting back down below it here again, acting as strong resistance. So again, if we just take a look at, say, GTBIF and see what the leaders in the space are doing. GTBIF. You can see here we're actually getting close to the 200 weekly moving average, and then same thing with TRUL. It's on its way to its 200. It's basically halfway there. TCNNF, let's take a look at that one. Yeah, so basically halfway there. CureLeaf, very close to basically halfway there between the 100 and the 200 weekly. So again, if we see AYRWF do something similar, that'd put us around the $7 to $8 area. But if we do come back and even test that 200 weekly, that'd put us around $11.36. So I think that it's very possible if we get updates with regards to safer banking, if we get rescheduling announcement at some point, maybe in March or April, which I think is the most likely scenario, then I think we could easily head back up to that $10 to $11 area on AYR. And we also had a golden cross as well, with the 50 crossing up through the 200-day moving average. We're still above all of our daily moving averages as well, so we're still extremely strong at the moment. There's nothing to be concerned about. And then 242 is support there on the 50-day moving average. So I think there's a lot of support there in that 230 to 250 range if you're looking for entries for the long term. Like I said, not a bad idea to start targeting daily oversold conditions, and that 250 area and 230, somewhere around there. You can start to scale in as well, right? So definitely seeing a lot more bearish signals than bullish here in the short term, but medium to long term, I think this is going to be an absolute massive company, and we could see monster moves leading into the spring here with tons of catalysts. We should see Germany come online as well, vote expected this month, and then full enactment into April, and then we could see Florida on the ballot. We could see Pennsylvania, pretty much a done deal as well. So it's looking really, really good here. Like I said, nothing to be too concerned about in terms of the long term here. I don't think this is mostly just an overreaction, and with 160% moves with no weekly support nearby, and 160% gains with no weekly consolidation, we need to expect a pretty sizable pullback. And 10, 20, 30% pullback is not something that we should be surprised about. And if you were, let that be a lesson, right? In the future, if something goes up 160% or 100%, and we have no weekly support nearby, and we haven't consolidated on the weekly time frame in over a month or 2 months, then you need to expect a 10, 20, 30% pullback. And when that pullback does come, you'll know that it'll just be healthy, right? If we were to lose weekly uptrends, that'd be a different story, or monthly uptrends, that'd be a different story on a 30% pullback. But in this case, it's just a healthy correction, in my opinion. But going into there, it's Rod with Power Group. Thanks again for joining us in the pursuit of wealth. If this video was helpful, please smash the like, share it with your network. I would appreciate it. Love each and every one of you supporting me along the way. Have a great night, and we'll see you again on the next video.